What's up, y'all? This is Daniel.
And this your boy Domo.
This your boy Lavonte. And this the Born Leader Wrestling Podcast.
So, with Bret Hart and Kurt Angle, who you taking? Kurt Angle and Bret Hart, who you taking? Based off that.
Off of what?
Charisma, promo, crowd participation.
That's not no fan.
Who you taking?
Nigga, Kurt Angle. The fuck are you talking about?
So when it comes to top, based on that, Kurt Angle is greater than Bret Hart.
When it comes to that, yeah.
Now, technical wrestling. Who's the best
Bret.
technical wrestling?
Bret.
Over Kurt Angle?
Yeah. I'm giving it to Bret. Technical wrestling, yeah. Just because he was a
I
wrestler.
ain't gonna lie to you.
I know Kurt Angle was Kurt Angle was a wrestler. You know, back in his days of high school and the college, and you know, gold.
Nigga got a medal for that shit.
Yeah, I know. I understand that. I understand that. But when I look at the wrestling, I look at like it's different. I respect Kurt Angle wrestling.
I know this
but
is like something we don't say, but you know, wrestling is. And Kurt Angle, he was in the Olympics, yeah, in real competition.
But that's Olympic. But you got pro wrestling is different than that.
Okay, but we talk about technical, right? And
yeah.
Technical is it's the basis of what we're talking about, the mat work.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle won a world.
He did
gold medal,
but he also wasn't like. Technical wrestling comes with like storytelling too.
I think a lot of people.
I'm not giving Bret Hart a lot of people. I'm saying when it comes to technical wrestling, I'm talking about pro wrestling because when it comes to technical wrestling, the pro wrestling era, like pro wrestling, not era, but pro wrestling, it also comes with telling the story. So in Olympics, it's like real wrestling. You have to pin your opponent down to get the point. Like that's cool. But when it comes to pro wrestling, it's like technical wrestling and then the storyline with it. That's what I'm talking about.
So who's the Karate Kid? Daniel LaRusso or the other nigga?
Who? I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Oh well, then maybe I can't use it. I can't use this with you because you know they say Daniel or LaRusso was the bad guy, right? That nigga wasn't, right? But the other guy was a better fighter, right? Kurt Angle, I think he was in competition and he won.
Well, if you talking about real shoot wrestling, technical wrestling, Kurt Angle, of course.
Okay.
But when you're talking about WWE pro wrestling, I think Bret Hart, because when you throw pro wrestling in there, you throw in storytelling.
Okay, cool.
But if you're talking about just technical wrestling, if Bret Hart and Kurt Angle fucking tie down, and Kurt Angle, of course.
The storytelling in the ring.
Yes.
Do you believe that the storytelling outside of the ring leads to the storytelling in the ring?
It's two different things.
Do you believe that one leads to the other?
No. I don't understand what your question, so I don't know how to answer that.
So, if you have a storyline outside the ring and you get in the ring and have a match, do you believe that the storyline outside the league bleeds over to the storyline in the ring?
Only if it's like a kayfabe injury, like if Shawn Michaels got injured the week before, and then like and then Bret Hart started working on his leg, and they're like, "Oh yeah, his leg is hurt." But other than that, no, because you can have a bomb ass promo outside the ring, and then have a trash ass.
What story do you remember from Bret Hart in the ring, without the outside the ring, in the ring? And I ain't talking about Yokozuna.
Him and Mr. Perfect.
What story did they tell in the ring?
The technical part of wrestling. You have to watch the match, and I can't explain it. Them perfectly. You know how you just showed me how Scott Steiner and Batista was chain wrestling, and how he pushed them, and they pushed them, and then they put them in the headlock. They kind of like it's not smooth. It was like
it was two big ass niggas doing.
Yeah, but if you doing like technical wrestling and you real smooth with him and Mr. Perfect will be the best.
So you talking about in ring chemistry?
Yes.
So you're talking about the way they dance in the ring?
Yeah.
So that based off of what you're saying, is as long as a wrestler, I'm not talking about any of them, but as long as a wrestler have good in-ring chemistry with their opponent, right? It's going to be a good match.
Most of the time, yeah, it should.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what makes Bret Hart a good wrestler because he had in-ring chemistry with everybody?
He didn't have in-ring chemistry with everybody.
But when we say stuff, you say
because he can have a match with Sid Justice. And Sid Just Psycho Sid Justice, whatever.
Sid Vicious.
Sid Vicious, whatever you want. That nigga. Anyway, that was one of his names. Well,
yeah.
And Sid could be off, but Bret could be on his shit. So it depends.
So
he had a more like a mature level in the ring that he could adapt.
Or Bret could be off and Sid could, like, it depends. Like, it just.
So that's when it comes down. That's when the question comes down to it. Is if you're saying that Bret is a good in-ring performer because of the chemistry he have in the ring and he's saving wrestlers and shit like that. If you're saying that, and I'm being real particular with these questions I'm asking. Mm-hmm. If you're saying that, it is nobody in that ring that's doing that shit like Chris Jericho. Due to the fact when he's in the ring with anybody, he have good chemistry and he saved everybody before they kill themselves. He is that same person that you're talking about.
Well, then you got to think.
What's Chris Jericho? AEW Chris Jericho, WWE Chris Jericho.
But Chris Jericho is from that same cloth too, though.
But that's what I'm.
So when you talk about Chris Jericho, like the way how he was brought into wrestling, it was under the umbrella of what Stu Hart brought to Bret Hart, Chris Benoit, and all of them. So they all have that mindset: protect the person who you in with at all times.
Okay, so we talking about Chris Jericho and we talking about Bret Hart, and we also talking about Undertaker. You feel me? We have these people that we talk that based off of what you're saying, what makes Bret Hart great. Because let's be real, all them niggas got the same fucking moves. All them niggas do the same thing. You have the best match when you have the best chemistry with the person in the ring. That's it.
It's the etiquette, though.
It's a lot of greats.
It's the etiquette of wrestling. It's the etiquette of wrestling.
Who's greater than the greats? There's a lot of greats.
Yeah.
But I'm putting Bret over. I'm putting Bret over Chris Jericho.
I get what you're saying now.
I'm putting Chris Benoit over Chris Jericho.
I wouldn't say. Now, when it comes to putting it over, I ain't gonna say anything about that because if you were to go down the line, you know Bret Hart is going lower, and lower. No, he is because Bret Hart stops.
Bret Hart
stops.
No, we talking about prime versus prime. You can talk about stop. You can't talk about stop.
Okay, so
that's how. So
like saying this.
So Soulja Boy better than Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy better than Tupac. Soulja Boy better than Tupac.
Soulja Boy made a lot more money than Tupac.
Soulja Boy is better than we not talking about money. We talking
about.
You
asking me? I'm
talking about rapping.
Look. Watch this. If you asking me about Tupac and Soulja Boy, of course I got Tupac all day. So as these young niggas about Soulja Boy and Tupac who don't know Tupac, they gonna put Soulja Boy over Tupac.
No, we talk about wrestling fans that know both of the fans.
Okay, if I know Bret Hart and who else?
Okay, then fuck that.
Bret Hart and Chris Jericho. Look, no. I know Bret Hart. I know Chris Jericho. No. Watch this.
Because that's what you said.
Chris Jericho is still wrestling, right? Uh-huh. Chris Jericho is still wrestling.
No, because he's talking about years. He's talking about years.
Okay, I ain't talking about.
Let's say Bret Hart. Bret Hart, he got what? 5 years of prime, right?
You keep talking about years.
Okay, prime,
years.
Prime, right?
Yeah, like
prime versus prime, right?
Pay my mortgage, fuck y'all.
Chris Jericho prime, I think is more what is it? Notable than Bret Hart's.
Are we talking about
prime versus prime, right?
Okay, but are we talking about because with y'all two we have to be exact? Are we talking about overall? Or are we talking about wrestling?
Prime.
Are we talking about in ring?
Years. Prime and prime.
Prime and prime. No. We talk about prime and prime, but are we talking about in ring wrestling? Or are we just talking about all around? That's what I'm saying.
Prime, whatever that consists of. Prime.
No, prime. I know.
At their best.
I know what you're saying. Both of them at their prime. But are we talking about in ring, like wrestling?
Say both. Say in ring wrestling.
Oh, we just talking about all around, like all promos around. And everything.
All around.
All around, I would say Chris Jericho because Chris Jericho was a better promo person. But if we're talking about in ring, I was talking about in ring. I'm going with Bret.
And that's because Bret Hart is a better technical wrestler than Chris Jericho?
Me personally, I think.
When it comes to in ring, Chris Jericho did the same thing. Like, told the story, did everything in the ring, just like Bret Hart.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, maybe it wasn't to the same, like Bret Hart, because Bret Hart and Chris Jericho are two different type of wrestlers. Mm-hmm. You know? But telling the story, Chris Jericho told the story too.
He did.
You know what I'm saying?
I just think that Bret Hart is better than Chris Jericho in the ring. Now, all around, Chris Jericho is better.
You're saying that that's your personal opinion? But if you threw out like the facts, I know we gotta go back and break that shit down. No, because Chris Jericho, he got more matches than Bret, and Bret it's gonna be close down to just like a top 4, top 5. Chris Jericho, he had more moments than Bret Hart.
Yeah, but if you put they top 5 versus they top 5s, we talk about prime. If a table of people come together and put Bret Hart top 5 and come together and be like, all right, this is Bret Hart top 5 matches, and they go and say this is Chris Jericho top 5 matches, I'm pretty sure Bret will win. I think.
Can I say something?
But they might not.
You know what?
They might not. I don't know.
Can I say
Let's
something?
put that in onto the
Nah, because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something that's gonna kill all these arguments.
Because Owen Hart versus Bret, Bret versus Shawn, and Bret versus Diesel. Not Diesel.
Yokozuna.
Not even Yoko. I forgot the nigga name already.
Say Vicious.
Mr. Perfect. Those 3 alone is better than any top 3 Chris Jericho matches you can come up with. Me personally.
I'm gonna tell you. Well, that's because you're a historian.
Well, we talk about our top 5. So you got to say top 5.
I got you. But you're literally a historian.
Yeah, but Chris Jericho came around and
you
said, like,
are
you can,
Triple H of this podcast.
but you can still go back to Chris Jericho matches.
What I'm gonna say something.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get mine out real quick, and I'm gonna be done after this. Y'all can have this shit. It's a reason why Hulk Hogan is considered number 1 in a lot of, maybe not ours, in a lot of people's eyes. And let's be real, Terry ain't been a good wrestler. Ain't been a great wrestler. Can we agree with that?
No.
What, you think he been a great wrestler?
He can wrestle. He just didn't wrestle like that. And if you go to his Japan shit, he wrestled. But I understand what you're saying.
This nigga.
I'm just saying.
This nigga right here. This nigga right here. Hey,
he can wrestle.
This nigga right here.
He can wrestle.
Push that motherfucker.
The problem with that,
I did.
This motherfucker.
I admit when I push the goalpost, you don't.
I do.
It's cool when you do it. The problem when I do it, fuck it.
No, man, I'm just trying to get my point across because he's an asshole. Look, a lot of people in this world will say Hulk Hogan is their number 1 wrestler. A lot of people will say fucking Roddy Piper is. A lot of people say Dusty Rhodes is. A lot of people say Ric Flair is. Yeah. No matter what, Ricky Steamboat. No matter what, they're there because they're technical wrestlers and this and this. Be honest with you, it's about their people are in these positions because of the pushes they got. And no matter whoever the fuck they chipped up and got liked in the background or whatever, got them there. Hulk Hogan had a hell of a run. Still got a hell of a run. Right? There's nobody ever replacing Hulk Hogan on this world.
Hulk Hogan is the Snoop Dogg of wrestling.
Snoop Dogg of wrestling.
Because everybody know him. Hulk Hogan is wrestling.
But it's because everywhere Hulk Hogan went, it was pushed to the top. No matter how much, even when he fucking took the fucking shit and laid down and get Jeff Jarrett beat him, it didn't even take a hit. He said nigga and got away with it. Mm-hmm. I'm saying this to say, no matter how we look at it, you have your golden eras. And I'm not even going to hold you. Your golden eras is, that shit is some bullshit. Your golden eras is Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, the Yokozuna, kept that right there. The 90s, that's your golden eras. Dead ass. WWE. Because don't let that shit go to WCW. You do not give a fuck about WWE. So if them niggas is in WWE, that ain't Attitude, nigga. That's pre-Attitude.
Attitude era is my shit.
Attitude era is Stone Cold.
I fuck with Stone Cold. With Shawn Michaels too.
What? Is it 2006?
No, it's like 95.
Yeah, what the fuck, Stone Cold?
I said 2006. Yeah. I said 96. I meant 96. 96. But you fuck with the...
I claim the whole 90s.
You claim the 90s, right?
Not that 90s, but the 90s
You
era.
claim 90s WWF. You claim 90s WWF. I fucking hate this nigga.
We in LA. Got to make sure you know what you're talking.
Fuck. Me and you watch WCW from a time frame. It's some shit that we claim in wrestling in total that goes from WWF to WCW. So you see a difference in that path.
Yeah, it gets trashed. Go to WCW. Go ahead.
I mean, when it comes down to it, like all this shit is under the WWF umbrella because everybody.
You know.
No, for real.
Thank you.
No, for real. No, because everybody, all the big names get to WWF, dog.
Y'all niggas, no.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in.
What's the last shit we got on?
That was it, nigga. We just
went on. Ain't give his flowers.
You did?
Did you give your flowers?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my flowers to technical wrestling, nigga. Fuck it.
I gave by the Charlotte Flair.
Hey, look, can y'all do me a favor? Can y'all spam this nigga in the motherfucking comments?
What I do?
He's a fucking dickhead.
Hey, I'm gonna send y'all Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, and y'all
nobody
can see.
cares.
See, you over giving it. I'm gonna send it to you.
I'll watch it. I look it up when I get home. Shit.
Yeah, you don't know. See. You don't know good wrestling. If it's not Scott Steiner versus Batista,
I want you.
Hey, that's his match of the year.
I want you to go look up Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit WCW. All right.
All right, that's our homework.
Yeah. Hold on.
And you go watch
fuck you.
Giant Gonzalez versus
Undertaker.
Fuck you. Hey, look, fuck you too. No. Fuck y'all too. Look, to tell the truth. Honestly, everybody in WCW that's how they started the match. they lock up, they headlock to the rope, push. Everybody in WCW did that. Am I lying?
And it looked the botchy as fuck though.
That's the hate in you.
DDP did that shit. Like DDP, that was his
See,
shit.
the whole interview, the whole episode, y'all didn't even mention DDP. Y'all only mentioned all these other niggas.
Because I gave Florida fucking Scott Steiner and you hated on it.
I'm out of here.
Look,
hey, everybody that comments, let this nigga know about Scott Steiner is not better than Bret. Get the fuck out of here with that
Bret Hart was
bullshit.
a one-trick pony. Thank you for liking, subscribe, follow us on all the platforms. Shout out to everybody who like us and everybody who hate him. Please say fuck WW. Hey, put an L in the chat. Put two L's. L for Lavonte, a loss for Lavonte. Put that in the chat right now. Gang, gang.
Wrestling's for niggas. And don't fucking forget it. Wrestling is for niggas. Yeah. Let's go.